Hey there, my friend. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi from the Fit Father Project and the Fit Mother Project. Welcome to today's video where we're going to cover 7 highly effective ways to help you reduce muscle soreness after your next workout. Now, whether you're a new beginner to exercise and you're just starting to work out, or you're an experienced lifter and exerciser, you know that after a hard workout, we often experience this delayed onset muscle soreness a few days later, where our muscles get tight, they get sore, and it's the feeling that we did some damage to the muscles and adaptation is starting to happen, yet we don't have to necessarily sit in the tremendous pain. There's stuff that we can do to help speed up the recovery process, and that's exactly what I want to share with you in today's video. I'm going to share with you 7 highly effective, mostly research-proven ways that I found to be really effective in my life and the lives of thousands of my clients, and I want to share it with you to help you reduce muscle soreness. And I promise you this, you're going to find at least 1 or 2 things on this list that you've never tried before that you might be inspired to try based on the research and the simple protocols I'm going to cover in today's video. Let's get into the first tip in this list.
FitFatherProject.com.
All right, so tip number 1 to help you reduce muscle soreness after your next workout is actually to do some light exercise the very next day. And this may sound a little counterintuitive, but hear me out here. Let's say you just did a leg workout, and then the next day your legs are feeling really sore, and you did some squats and deadlifts, and now you're feeling that tight soreness, and you're sitting down on the bathroom toilet, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just did some serious damage. What's happening right now is after you did that heavy workout, part of the muscle fibers have had some amount of tearing and there's a lot of repair going on. But what also has happened is there's a lot of metabolic buildup of all these byproducts of exercise, as well as the immune system getting in there to start to heal and repair things. And anytime you want to heal something in the body, your number 1 goal is to actually increase blood flow, increase oxygen exchange, and drive more nutrients into the area. And this is why the first tip on this list is, let's say you do have those sore legs, is the next day to go do some light cardio for your legs. I'm talking about maybe getting on an elliptical machine, riding a bike at a low pace. Do not do anything with high resistance that would continue to damage the muscles, but just enough that you're getting some blood flow to crank in that area. Because again, blood flow is bringing oxygen and new nutrients, and it's going to help that turnover in that recovery process. So with the body, motion is lotion, and more blood flow is great. So again, you want to do some light cardio and some stretching a day after a heavy workout is going to speed up your recovery. And now for the upper body, things that you could do. Let's say you have a very sore chest, back, and shoulders. Maybe you do a little bit of jumping rope. Maybe you just do some movements like this to get some blood flow going, some shoulder circles. Maybe you get on a hand bike, something like this. Light cardio, let's say 10 to 15 minutes the next day, is going to help speed up your recovery. Let's move on to the second tip on this list. All right, so tip number 2 to help you reduce muscle soreness after your next workout is to use some cold therapy, also known as cryotherapy. And it's no surprise, athletes have known this for hundreds of years. When you submerge your body into cold water, you get a natural anti-inflammatory and pain-reducing effect. And this is because the nature of cold, it causes vasoconstriction, and it actually helps stimulate some of the nerves and actually gets the immune system activated to go clean some stuff up. Now, there's a little caveat to this. I actually do not recommend you do ice plunges and cold stuff immediately after your exercise, because exercise, in its very nature, does create some beneficial inflammation. When you're exercising your muscles, you're creating some amount of damage, and that damage is inflammatory, and that inflammation is a natural signal for your body to adapt. And what they found is you actually need the mitochondria and the muscles to have a slight inflammation signal. And if you do too much cold right after your workout, it actually squashes that beneficial inflammation signal and actually leads to less gains from your workouts. So what I do suggest is you actually have cold within 12 to 24 hours, and I want to actually cite some of the research. So a group of researchers took some elite runners and they had them do whole body cryotherapy, like a cold plunge, either 1 hour, 24 hours, or 48 hours after their workout. And the group that had some cold exposure had a 20% increase in speed and power up to 2 days later compared to the placebo group. And similar performance enhancements have also been seen in other elite athletes like tennis players. In this case, researchers took 2 groups of tennis players, and one group they had them do whole body cold exposure twice per day, in the morning and the evening, and they did their tennis workouts in the afternoon. And the other group got no cold exposure but the same tennis workouts. And what they found in the group that did do the cold cryotherapy, they had a 2.5 times decrease in the pro-inflammatory cytokines, particularly called TNF alpha, meaning they had less inflammation. And they also had a 23% increase in a particular immune cytokine called interleukin-6 that helps improve muscle repair. So the fact is, cold seems to have some powerful effect on reducing inflammation, but my suggestion for you is you do not do it right after exercise. What I personally do is I do it first thing in the morning because it also gives you a lot of other energizing benefits for your nervous system. It raises norepinephrine, it gets you more focused, it improves your immune strength. So my personal protocol would be, let's say you work out, don't do any cold for about 4 hours after exercise, maybe do it in the evening, but I think the best time is in the morning because it increases adrenaline. So something to consider. Now, another interesting thing about cold is for muscle recovery, it can actually become even more effective if you combine that in an alternating fashion with heat. And this is called contrast hydrotherapy. It is a therapy that's been around for hundreds of years, but it's just making a mainstream resurgence right now. And here's the basic protocol. Let's say you go into a hot tub or some kind of water that's around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and you soak in there for about 5 minutes. And then you hop out and get into some kind of cold water for around 1 to 2 minutes. And then you hop back into the hot and back into the cold, and you might go back and forth for around 10 to 15 minutes. The reason this is so effective is because cold is a vasoconstrictor and hot is a vasodilator. So you get a pumping action in the body, which is what again? It's moving blood flow into those muscles. You're getting a pumping action where some of this metabolic waste is being moved out, new oxygen-rich nutrients are coming into your tissues, and you're getting faster metabolism, more clearance. Muscle recovery is about clearance, so the alternating hydrotherapy is really good. And this actually segues very, very nicely into number 3. Our third tip here on this list is actually to use heat to improve muscle soreness after your next workout. So we talked about the contrast hydrotherapy, but there's a way you can actually take it up a notch. And that's by using our good friend here, Epsom salts. So Epsom salts, you've probably heard of them. These are basically magnesium salts. And magnesium is one of the most important minerals for overall health, for the nervous system, for heart health, and for relaxing muscles. And we've known this for really like hundreds, if not thousands of years, that when we get into a lot of these waters that are rich in minerals, like natural hot springs, people feel fantastic. And you can kind of bring this to your own home by filling up a bathtub to whatever water temperature is good for you and putting around 2 to 3 cups of Epsom salts in there and soaking for around 10 to 15 minutes. So not only are you getting this relaxing factor with the heat itself, these magnesium salts, as your pores open, are actually soaking into your body and helping relax sore muscles. And if you're someone who's experienced beneficial effects of magnesium salts, comment below, let us know, say I love this stuff. For me personally, I know it's really amazing. And here's a little pro tip. I think it's a good idea to be in a magnesium bath for a longer period of time, 15, 20 minutes. So don't make the water too hot where you feel like you're overheating and need to get out too soon. Keep it in the warm to hot zone and really soak in that bath. And what I personally like to do is when I'm in a magnesium bath, I also like to massage my own muscles. So if something's tight, I'm massaging, I'm pressing, I'm stretching. And that combination of heat, which really helps relax and open up the muscles with some pressure with the magnesium, is actually a superpower for helping improve your muscle recovery. Let's get into the next tip. Tip number 4 for helping you reduce muscle soreness after your next workout is to do some self-myofascial release, which is a fancy term for self-massage. We all know the importance of doing things like using a foam roller, using all these different massage tools, and I have a couple different tools I'm gonna show you right now. But the concept is this: you just had a hard workout, things are tight and sore, a couple things are happening. Your body is actually getting to work to rebuild new proteins and to help make those muscles stronger. And as it's doing that, it is creating some inflammation, and oftentimes we get tight, knotted up muscles. We've all felt when we have like a trigger point or something where a muscle's really knotted up. Sometimes it happens after exercise. And the cool thing is one of the research proven ways to get rid of those knots is to put gentle pressure to pin right on that sore spot and then to relax into it until it starts, the tissue opens up. And there's a couple reasons why this works. Again, one, when you're pressing on something and then releasing, there's a reperfusion of that rich nutrient blood, which is a common theme in this whole list. But also the pressure itself helps the nervous system relax and release some of this tension. So if you have any sore area, I recommend you do that light cardio we talked about in tip number 1 and also do some foam rolling. And specifically, here's some tools that I love. I have this little like nubbed, ridged kind of foam roller. Very good because you can use these in particular spots to get into tight areas that really is nice. It's kind of like a masseuse's thumb that's getting into that perfect spot. You can create this. And again, the protocol is not necessarily just to roll over a muscle like crazy. It's to find an area that's tight, sit on that for around 30 seconds to 1 minute until it relaxes, and then keep on moving slowly through the body. Now, I think it's good to have a lot of different types of tools. Foam rollers are great, but I also love to have like a dense foam ball like this, something circular. You can put this on a wall and get up into your traps. You can use this in the glutes. You can get into the armpit and the chest area. It's nice to have another one like this. And just like, people know that you need to drink more water, many of us know we should probably foam roll more. The key to actually doing this is to have this stuff laying out visually in your house. I keep these things in my office and another set in the garage gym that we have. So I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna foam roll. So when I take a little work break, I actually get down and do a little bit of this stuff. A couple other tools that I absolutely love. This guy, this is one of these cane things, you've probably seen this. If you work on a computer regularly, this is also contributing to your soreness, because most of us on a computer, we got the mouse hand like this, our traps are really tight, head's moving forward on the desk like this. Those traps get so tight. So a cool tool like this, you can pin that trap and move around and create a lot of good motion. So really working on your trap tightness is gonna help your body's feeling overall. And finally, something that I absolutely love, a lot of people you see have those kind of the Theraguns or the vibrating guns with the pulsators. Those are amazing, but you can also get something cheaper that I believe is almost as effective. This is a Black & Decker, literally a car buffer. What people put wax on and they buff their cars. You plug this sucker in and it rotates. And I think this is amazing because you can actually put the flat surface on a big sore muscle like this, or you can use the edge to really dig in on the sides just like this. And it's so good because you get that vibration, which again, helps work the nervous system and drive more blood into the tissue. And another pro tip is something like this can be a really great warm up. And let's say you're about to do some kind of upper body workout and we normally do warm up sets. You can actually just use some kind of diffuse thing like this around your chest area for like 1 to 2 minutes. You're gonna get so much blood flow, and blood flow is warmth and it makes the muscles ready for exercise. So this is pre and post, but getting some tools like this and playing around with what works for you, absolutely key tip. Let's move on to our next tip on this list. All right, so tip number 5 for helping you reduce muscle soreness after your next workout is to focus on your nutrition, specifically on high protein rich foods and some natural anti-inflammatories. So it's no surprise the reason why we want proteins is because they have amino acids in them. And these amino acids are structural building blocks of our cells. So when we're recovering and building new muscle tissue after a big workout and we're sore, we need those amino acids to recover. So focusing on really great protein sources. If you're eating an animal-based diet, make sure you're getting eggs, particularly those whole eggs, wild salmon, grass-fed, pasture-raised beef, things like this. If you're eating a vegan vegetarian diet, you want to combine different kinds of plant-based proteins, like maybe lentils with beans, with rice, quinoa, things like this, but getting lots of protein-rich foods after your workout, very key for those amino acids. This is another reason why I'm a huge fan of getting a high-quality protein powder. If you're not familiar, my team and I, we actually make our own protein powder called Super Fuel, which has 20 grams of protein per scoop, plus we throw in a bunch of vitamins, minerals, probiotics, super greens, stuff like that. But protein powder is just a really good tool because you can just take it after exercise, and I know that I'm getting 20 plus grams of amino acid-rich protein to help kickstart the recovery process. We all know about the protein, but I think the more interesting part about using nutrition to reduce soreness is getting some natural anti-inflammatories. And there's a couple key heroes in this story. I'm gonna give you 3 of these that I recommend you look into for reducing muscle soreness. The first one are good old-fashioned omega-3s. We know omega-3s as fish oil, krill oil, but these are also found in plant-based sources like hemp seeds and chia seeds and flax, etc., in a slightly different form. You want to get these into your diet on a fairly regular basis, and the research is clear. Let's say you eat cold water fatty fish like wild salmon or sardines a few times per week. You're getting those rich omega-3s, which are natural anti-inflammatories. They also have benefits to fat burning, cognition, heart health, etc. So that's good. Get those into your diet and make sure you're getting an omega-3 source. And also, if you get really high quality eggs, they also have some omega-3s in there as well. And you want to look for eggs that have a really rich yolk that looks more orange than it does yellow. Now here's where things get a little more interesting. There are some roots that are actually very powerful, and one of those is ginger. Ginger is one of the most overlooked herbs for actually reducing inflammation and improving muscle soreness, and I want to cite an actual study. In the Journal of Pain, they reported that the pain-relieving properties of ginger showed that taking ginger supplements may reduce muscle soreness caused by exercise because ginger has anti-inflammatory effects on muscle tissue and helps reduce the intensity of pain caused by muscle injury. And to benefit from the medicinal properties of ginger to reduce pain, you can use either fresh ginger or even cooked ginger, and here's what I personally do. I buy ginger root from the grocery store and we juice it. And I also put slices of it and I either eat it with some meals, just get a couple slices of ginger, put it on a salad, or even drink some ginger tea. But just try this. Next time that you're having some muscle soreness, incorporate ginger and ginger root. It's something you can find anywhere and it has such powerful properties, again, dried or fresh. I get the fresh, I just slice it up. And if you're into juicing and you like the health benefits of that, if you actually pair ginger with things like beets, which have circulation and nitric oxide producing properties, as well as celery, and you do kind of like ginger, apple, beet, celery juice, wow, you're getting a lot of these powerful phytochemicals for reducing inflammation. Now, another root that's really good to get into your diet is turmeric root, because it has the active compound called curcuminoids. And many of us know of turmeric or curcumin supplements, and they're very good. They have very strong research that they're good for anti-cancer effects, and they also reduce markers of muscle damage after exercise. And one of the reasons I love natural anti-inflammatories as opposed to taking prescription anti-inflammatories is they have a more gentle kind of alterative effect. When you take prescription anti-inflammatories, particularly after exercise, I mentioned earlier, it actually blunts some of your gains. Not the great thing. But these natural anti-inflammatories seem to work a little bit better with the body in a chronic condition, and they don't actually have some of the gastrointestinal side effects and damaging long-term effects that prescription anti-inflammatories do. Now, one final plant-based compound that's really good for helping reduce inflammation and improve recovery after exercise is tart cherry extract, or drinking some tart cherry juice. Now, tart cherry juice is not the same as like some kind of Welch's super sugary juice. It's very tart by nature. It does have some natural sugars, but most importantly, it has a class of plant-based compounds called anthocyanins. These are the same things that make blueberries blue and cherries that dark, rich color. And these flavonoid compounds are so powerful because they're natural anti-inflammatories and antioxidants. In fact, there's a famous running race in Oregon called the Hood to Coast, which is roughly a 200-mile race that goes from Mount Hood to Seaside, Oregon. And some researchers actually studied some runners, and they gave them tart cherry extract and tart cherry juice, and they found that the runners who took the tart cherry juice had less inflammation and faster muscle strength recovery than the runners who had no intervention whatsoever. And the reason is that certain of these plant-based compounds, like we've discussed so far, the tart cherry extract, the turmeric, the curcuminoids in those, and obviously the ginger, have natural compounds that work with the body to reduce inflammation. So my suggestion to you is get that protein-rich diet, get some of these things into your diet as well, and you're gonna see a lot of benefits to your recovery. Let's get into the next tip on this list. So tip number 6 out of 7 on this list of how to reduce muscle soreness after your next workout is to focus on improving your sleep. It's no surprise, during the daytime, we're doing a lot of our activity. We're doing our work, we're doing our exercise, and that's the active part of our circadian rhythm. And human beings, as circadian beings, we need activity, and we need that paired with rest. And at night, our bodies do so many powerful things during sleep. And there's a couple different phases of sleep that are beneficial for different circumstances. The first phase of sleep, which is deep sleep, is when our muscles really regenerate and repair. And a lot of this happens earlier in the night. So if you're someone who's staying up too late, particularly like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 a.m., you're actually missing out on a lot of the circadian deep sleep, and you're shortchanging your recovery. And so my suggestion for you is if you're looking at improving your recovery, increase the total hours of sleep. Maybe get it up to 7, 8 hours per sleep if possible, maybe even a little more if your body enables you to. And I recommend you actually improve the quality of the sleep as well by auditing your sleep environment. Can you make your room a little colder? Because what we find is people sleep a little better when rooms are colder. Can you get rid of ambient light, or maybe have a face mask or some earplugs or something like that? Anything you can do that improves your sleep at night is gonna help your muscle soreness and recovery, because that is the time when the body regenerates. And at night is one of the times our body actually releases a lot of this human growth hormone, which is repairing for all your muscles and your organs, helps keep you young. So optimize your sleep, you're gonna get better muscle soreness recovery and faster recovery from exercise in general. Let's get into the final tip on this list. Tip number 7, our final tip on this list to help you reduce muscle soreness after your next workout, is to use some topical creams. And many of us are familiar with creams like Icy Hot or Bengay, and these are fairly good. They contain menthol and some other ingredients that creates that kind of cooling sensation and stimulates some of the nerves and can reduce pain. But these aren't necessarily working deep in the muscles to reduce inflammation and improve recovery. What I suggest you maybe look into instead is something like a high quality CBD salve. And you may know this, and I'll just give you a little bit of a primer. CBD is different than the THC found in the cannabis plant that gives you the high psychoactive effect. So THC gets you high. CBD are a class of these natural cannabinoids found in nature that can have anti-inflammatory yet immune stimulating properties. And there's actually some research on this. I'm gonna cite a study from 2021 published in the journal Nutrient shows that supplementing with CBD post-workout help reduce creatine kinase levels. And creatine kinase is a marker of muscle damage, and it rises naturally after exercise. And what they found that when you take CBD after exercise, either topically or ingesting it, you have lower levels of some of these inflammatory markers, and it may help speed up recovery. And this is gonna be dependent. Maybe this works for you, maybe it doesn't, but I find that I typically have a little jar of a CBD salve, and if I'm absolutely destroyed from a workout, I'll rub some on. I find oftentimes on my traps because it helps reduce tension, as well as on my legs. And what you'll really notice is just a general relaxing effect, and this can be a good thing actually to do after a magnesium bath. So maybe your protocol is you do a little Epsom salt bath, you get out, rub some CBD either on your joints and your muscles, and then go to sleep. Very powerful protocol, can help enhance your recovery. So overall, I hope you found this list very valuable on ways you can reduce your muscle soreness after your next workout. Remember, at a certain point, it's a time game. Even if you've been an experienced exerciser, you change things up, you will experience soreness. But if you focus on some of these natural ways to help reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, stretch things out and move a little bit more, you will have great results. And I wanna give you like the really hit take-home stuff because I know we've covered a lot. Basically, do some light activity the very next day. This could be as simple as walking or doing some kind of exercise that involves the legs or the upper body. Key. Number 2, consider getting some whole body cold access. Whether you're jumping in a cold pool, you get a cold plunge in your house, maybe you even take a cold shower. This can be very good, but just don't do it right after your exercise. My personal preference is to do it in the morning, because if you worked out the day before, you do it the next day in the morning, you're getting this cold beneficial effect. You may want to explore doing contrast by hopping in from the cold into some Epsom salts and then back to the cold. That has a nice pumping, flushing effect that's very beneficial. Obviously focus on sleep, focus on good nutrition as we talked about in this video. Maybe use some topical salves like the CBD and stuff like that, and then you'll be on your way to recovering fast from your next workout, including of course your foam rolling. So thank you, my friend. I hope you found this valuable. If you need help with a health plan, like exactly what to do, and you want to demystify all the guesswork, then make sure you scroll below and check out the description of this video, because we have some free meal plans and free workouts for busy moms and dads in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. And of course, we have our full paid Fit Father and Fit Mother programs, which are the best programs online for reducing life-changing transformations like these you see right here on this video. These are our actual program members, and inside the program, we not only give you the nutrition guidance, the exercise guidance, how to reduce soreness, the right kinds of supplements, and my team and I personally keep you accountable. So if you're looking for a powerful transformation, step by step, my team and I would love to serve you. Thank you for being here, my friend. If you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up. It really helps this video spread across the YouTube algorithm or wherever you're watching this, and it reaches more people, and it helps our channel grow. Thank you, my friend. I'll see you around the channel. This is Dr. A signing off, and I'll talk to you very soon.